Hey YouTube, this is Dave at Richter Scale Studios. Welcome to part 12 of the Dropzone Commander starter set I'm painting. I am working on the troops now. We have the Scourge troops. I guess these are like humans that have been taken over, and they got great coats on and backpacks and some weird goggles and little rifles on them. Right now I decided I'm going to make the bases more urban. So I am going in with Minotaur coal and using a Grex XGI with a point, I believe this is a 0.2 setup in there. So I'm trying to get in, not get too much paint on the troops themselves, just make it coating more paint. I've got some golden airbrush medium, my trusty medicine cups, which I love to mix so I can see my consistencies, and I think I got it, maybe almost half and half paint and airbrush medium, but you see it's putting out a nice smooth coat, and I'm not using a cup, so I'm not using massive amounts of paint at any given time. And just kind of not trying to, I'm not really worried about hitting the troops, but why, you know, keep darkening them. They're probably going to be dark in a lot of ways, but we can go in and highlight them. And we're going to highlight this a little bit also. We're going to go a little lighter gray, maybe like a concrete on top of this, and maybe do a couple like little road symbols or something like that on it. I don't think we'll do that by stencil, probably do it by hand. With a nice thick consistency paint that's not going to run away from us. And then we'll come in and sponge that out with one of the base colors to make the paint look like the paint look old, and maybe so we can paint some cracks in this or something like that. We're going to do some experimentation and see to make these look cool. It is really hard to when you don't have a lot of experience at working at this scale, and it does limit you because this is so tiny. And this may be a little over exaggerated for a road texture, because it is I use a craft sand, as I showed in a previous video. This is not play sand. This is like a really fine craft sand, almost like a really, really fine beach sand, maybe even finer than that. It's all one consistency. There's no weird pebbles or anything in it. You might like draw a crack and put some little bit of foliage on it too to simulate, you know, the age of it. You know, a couple hundred years. Took to get back into invading these places or taking them back. So I'm going to get this finished, and I'm going to get the other one. They'll come back. We'll highlight them, show you that, and go from there. Thanks. Hey, I'm back real quick. I just noticed to make a little bit quicker work of this is do the edges of the bases first. Just kind of run around and make sure you grab that, because especially when you're working with gray primer and stuff like that, you're not seeing if it's getting saturated enough with the color. It's not really a color, but you know, getting enough coverage, and then going in afterwards, because you don't really worry about the modeling on the top of the base, because you have the different colors of aged asphalt and concrete. And then when you get in there, you get a little more careful of not covering up your figures with too much paint. But then again, these are very, very thin coats and very thinned out with airbrush medium. This is very quick work of this. Might keep all this on film. I was thinking about breaking these all apart and putting them on corks, but this is so far working out for me. I don't know if I'm going to do the brushwork, maybe change, or we might have to split the cardboard down, which I might do. It'll be easier. That might be a good idea. And then so we can get in and start doing the brushwork on the troops themselves. Pretty nice. Let's get the other ones. We got that's the U.C.M. Now here's the Scourge. So it looks like we're done with that. And then I'm going to get another color real quick. Let's do... I said concrete, didn't I? That's badger fur. Base gray. Rock. Concrete. And this is here's the concrete right here. And here I got one of my agitators in this bottle. Find my medicine cups. And I'll do a little mix for you on camera. So that's a good amount of paint. You saw that. Let's get the camera in here a little bit closer. And then I have my golden airbrush medium in a 1 ounce bottle for easier decanting, I guess. And let's see about that much, a little more. And then I have an old brush. We'll make it a little moist. And then get in there. These cups are about a penny a piece, so I don't really save them or wash them. I usually toss them when I'm done, because the amount of time it takes to clean them is not really worth it. And this might be a little thin. That's okay. It's might be a little thick, but I think it'll work okay on this brush. I mean, this airbrush is really nice. Let's see. Okay, I still haven't cleaned this brush out yet, so I'm going to have to do a little testing with it. So let's think about like the medicine cup too. You can really crimp the edge so you don't make a mess. The less mess, the less stuff to do with the airbrush later. So let's see here. Let's get on a dark spot. See this little dark coming through? Wow. There we go, it's starting to lighten up. There we go. So let's get like on these edges here. This is just a really simple highlight. And we could have probably, just with the coal, did a little less I saved a step and this didn't go so hard with the coal and just let the primer go through, but I like make sure I got nice amounts of paint on everything. With little dots of light here and there. Let's go back over this one again. So let's like do a little. I think I like that. Those little spot highlights kind of just adds interest to everything. Keep my glove on my airbrush holder. So I got, well, let's get this back on camera. Oops. So I got some, probably about 2 to 3 inches of distance. This is, like I said, a 0.2 setup, so it's a really tight pattern that it's spraying. I think we're good. See right here, I'm like doing a little bit more. Yeah, I like that mottled effect. So that is it for right now on this painting the troops from the Dropzone Commander starter set. And we'll be back, and we will be, I think, splitting these in half. I'm going to take a razor knife and split these all these boards in half, and then start figuring out color schemes, which I haven't even thought about. I just wanted to get the bases done, or the bases painted. I think I might do a couple, like I said, some stripes here and there, just to show it looks like on asphalt or something like that. So, as usual, thank you for joining me. Okay, we are back, working on part 12. Got the troops all laid out. I did split those little cardboard bases. I'm holding them on to work with them. Too hard to do it with all in one thing, so I can go like, hold them like this and get in there. And I'm using a Winsor Newton Zero brush. I got some uniform green in the palette, thinned out, like really thin. So this is the model color, just uniform green. I'm going to be able to highlight it later and then do a nice wash to bring out all the little details. They're not very well, I mean, for 10 millimeters, I don't know if it's well or not, but there's not a super bunch of detail on there. I'm just trying to figure out what things are. I think they have visors on their helmets, or they're just low helmets over their eyes, we'll see what we can do with that. So I'm just using really, really thin. See what we can bring over here. The wet palette, you can see here how this paint is just really, really just a water thin, almost like a glaze. And then we're coming in, and this base coating this, guys. Not having to be overly clean about it, because we're going to still do helmets and the guns, and do maybe a little bit of highlighting. Maybe pick out a belt if we can find it on there. And the paint's going on really nicely, and the way it's primed, it's holding it nicely. I'm just going to do a fast coat on each one of these miniatures right now. And then go back and pick out anything I missed. Try not to get too sloppy with it, but like I said, it's so thin it doesn't really matter. And go over the helmets themselves. Get a little more paint going. Sure, some good pigment. See, just hit the helmets. Oh, get that leg. This little guy. So I'm going to get these all coated up. I was sitting silent for a little bit, trying to concentrate these. I have a visor and my glasses on, so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to get these done, and we'll be back. Thanks. Hey, we're back. Excuse me, my voice is still hammered from that flu. We got these. Well, basically the basic base coats are finished. We're getting there. Like I said in the previous section, we have uniform green on the U.C.M. and on the Scourge. I kept thinking about something cool. They can pop a little bit, and I'm going with, what's this called? Khaki Gray by Model Color. Let's see if I get the number right there. And I some kind of dig that. It feels like it's like a little bit of purple in it. To go with the ships. I don't know why I see that in it. I'm going to highlight it up with a little bit of yellow sand, because there's a little yellow and purple. I don't know. I just feel close with that. Oh, then I'm going to go in with some war paint, necrotic flesh, to highlight the, let's see, the paint colors. Got the necrotic flesh, and there's the uniform green, and there's the gray khaki, and there's that yellow sand. We'll start blending those together, just little highlights here and there. And we'll go with a wash. These guys have little backpacks on them. I'm going to probably do those in a maybe a dark brown or gray. I'm not sure. Maybe a dark gray, and then do black helmets possibly, and do glowing eyes on them because they have little goggles. See, I can pick those out with something, make them really, really stand out. They got pants and boots on, which are probably going to be dark gray and black. And all the guns on both of them probably going to be a dark metallic. I might mix a little black in with that the gunmetal from Vallejo Air. So that is it for right now. We'll come back and show you more of what we got going on. Thanks.